Hello. Y'all, if there's a reader that embodies that phrase, girl, don't do it, it's not worth it, I did it, it's me. It's me. Because every time I'm like, I'm not going to record a video. And then I sit down and then I'm like, today I went out and I got all the eclipse glasses for me and my kids. And I wrote them all their notes because I'm taking them out at noon. And we're going to go out to this like big field and witness the eclipse. And I got home and I was like, oh shit, I got time though. I got time to sit down and say hello. Y'all, you are so cool and so amazing. So I thought, we're going to tap into all this Aries eclipse energy and we're going to find out what these mother truckers really think. And I don't know, I'm in a fiery, feisty, really tenacious mood with this energy. And so I want to tap into what their true feelings are. No holds bar. We're going to dig into their psyche and see what their feelings are. Now, not what their mask is and not what they're putting up as a front, how they really feel beneath the surface. I don't have a whole lot of time to do this read today, so we're going to just get down to brass tacks here. So we got group 1, group 2, group 3, or collective 1, collective 2, collective 3. Now, I can attest to this that you can tap into a different energetic alignment each time, but if you're curious about what energetic alignment you have tapped into in this reading, there will be a link in the description box that tells you the collectives. Don't take it super personally. It's just the alignment that you're tapping into in this moment based on what you're experiencing. Okay, let's get into it. Group 1, collective 1. What does your person really feel in this moment? There's a little bit of anxiety that they're feeling. They're a little bit, this energy is bringing out a bit of nervousness in your person. They're feeling it kind of in the pit of their stomach. They're looking at this and they're, honestly, y'all, it's like they're looking at it and going, man, I think I messed up here a little bit, and looking at it from this sort of bird's eye view and kind of zooming out, and they're seeing things a little bit more clearly, it feels like, and they're not liking what they're seeing. Because I think they see you really kind of stepping into your power, and it's giving them it's not making them feel good. They don't feel good about that. Now, some of you, it could be they don't feel good about that because of the way they behaved. And some of you, it could be because they didn't take an opportunity when they maybe should have. So I don't know. Let's get into the cards though, because I'm not going to spend too much time sort of piddling around with that. We're going to get straight to it. We're going to dig in here and see what your person's true feelings are. What is group 1's true feelings in this moment, please? This guy. They're feeling a little bit out of balance. A little bit like they're repeating a cycle. Oh, what's this? Hold up. Why is this here? Oh, this is interesting. I have the elephant in the Light Spheres deck on accident. Fascinating. I didn't know that was there. We're going to talk about that. What are their true feelings? This is interesting because these are two, like, it's like they're waking up to a different perspective. Ooh. So now you're back, said you had your fun, and now you're coming round again. That song has been stuck in my head. Yeah, oh, I knew this card was going to come out. This is the bottom of the deck. Hold up, I'm not done. I knew that this card in particular was going to come out. I had a feeling. So since I knew that card was going to come out, I'm going to just step right into the 4 of Cups for you. They see this as Ooh, hello, Knight of Swords. Hold up. Somebody is like, wait a second. I wasn't ready. Okay, so they see this as like a missed opportunity is kind of how they're viewing it in this moment. They are like realizing that they were sort of, if you want me to be like a little bit crude in this space, is that they were focused on some basic cups and they didn't realize that they had a Queen of Cups over here kind of just coming out into their line of vision. Now, the cool thing about the Light Seers deck is that in my opinion, the Four of Cups reads a little bit differently, because you see how she has her hand sort of on that Four of Cups. Like, she's aware that this thing is really good for her, but doesn't really seem very ready or prepared or confident, is just worried about the future within this space. So she's kind of connected into it, but she's not looking forward, or she's not looking into the future. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, this is the cup that's coming out of the sky, and the man is sitting there and he's staring at the three cups in front of him, just these three normal everyday cups, right? And he's tunnel visioned into that, and then he doesn't see this like magic hand coming out of the sky and giving him this offering, right? And he's missing it. So the Four of Cups is a missed opportunity card, and I think that your person is sort of waking up to that, or viewing this in different light. They're definitely waking up to a new way of seeing things that they hadn't previously seen before, because I have told y'all in this collective that there was a moment that your person was rather arrogant, honestly, in their perspectives on this connection. But now they're seeing you as the Empress. This popped out on the bottom of the deck, and it's like, oh, they're just like, oh my gosh. It's like this reality that the person who was repeating a cycle that didn't pivot outside of the cycle was themselves, and recognizing where they could have maybe moved differently, or where they moved in a space that was sort of, it's like same old thing. And I just heard that, I'm so sick of that same old love. That shit, it tears me up, or something. I don't know how it goes, but you know, by Selena Gomez. But yeah, it's like, now I know within this connection, I think there were moments where we kind of tripped up, right? And feeling as though we messed up, but I really do feel like I'm among some accountable souls. So it's, if you did trip up, it wasn't like you just ran and hid from it. You faced your thing, you faced yourself, right? In fact, many of us within this collective, in the collective one, went through a space that was a little bit of an ego death, where it really tripped us up. It really knocked us off balance and knocked us down a peg. And we kind of in that space did a little bit of cocooning, and then came out, emerged. There's something with the throat chakra, because that's consistently coming up, where there must be something going on with the ability to communicate. And obviously, like when we're in connections like this, the issue 9 times out of 10 is not necessarily a complete absence of communication, but it's a comprehension problem, right? Where we're not communicating in a space where we're comprehending where the other person is coming from. And so I think your person now is like, I really feel like group one, that you've already done the bird's eye thing. You've already looked out at it objectively, and you see where things kind of weren't aligning, right? And I think your person is just now stepping out and seeing that and going, oh, okay, like this is where things were out of alignment, and then seeing this as it's like what they have going on now is that there's sort of a new idea forming, or a new way of seeing this thing that they hadn't seen before. So now they're viewing it from a new set of eyes. And I want to say that I told y'all in the past, if you have been here for a second and you've like tapped into Collective One, you're on a timeline with me and a storyline within this connection. So if you're new here, you should go check out the other readings. But anyway, I had told y'all that I felt like your person they were not seeing you authentically. Like something was blocking them from being able to see your authenticity, and to be able to see who you are and why you were brought to them, and like who you were in this connection. And so now I think your person is building that awareness, and they're kind of moving into a space of understanding things a little bit differently. And that's kind of bringing in some balance to them. And it's almost as though now they want to like run straight towards you. Now, are they going to do that because of however they moved in that? I don't know, but I know that's what they would like to do, is now they're seeing you as, you know, it's like woulda, shoulda, coulda kind of got vibes. And it's like, well, listen, okay, you can buy whatever narrative you want. I don't personally believe that, oh, you know, especially in the beginning stages of a connection, that somebody should have just known. First of all, masculine energy is slow as molasses to this process. So, I mean, just assuming, like, hate's a wrong word, but I dislike the narratives that are projected upon us in our society, where it's like telling us certain things that are so concrete, right, that people can't change and all this. I just disagree. I've been through, I mean, I've been through so many transitions in my life that I don't even feel like I'm the same person I was last week. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a rapid, at one point it just becomes like rapid evolution, right? And so I think that change is always possible. And I think that we are ever evolving humans. Now, if your person is evolving and they're changing and they're seeing things differently, then it's going to have to be, well, unfortunately, like if you were putting in the effort and you were being open and communicative and you were telling them how they felt. And I don't think it's necessarily that this person maybe kept, but I do think that this person kept some things, held some things back. I think that energetically this person was feeling something and then saying another, honestly. And I think that it was, so when I say that, it feels like fear. I think there was a lot of fear surrounding this connection. And unfortunately, like some energies, when they move in fear, they just want to avoid it. They don't want to, and as much as we can believe whatever we want, but the masculine energy, oftentimes, like there are a lot of masculines, especially men, who will choose a safer route, something that feels safer. Then they will go into this space where they might have to step up to somebody. I heard this, I saw this video, or it was a reel, and it was this man and he had two female friends and they were both like equally attractive. So neither one of them was any more attractive than the other. And they went out to like a club, right? And one of the women got copious amounts of attention from like every man around, right? And the other one got like almost no attention at all. And the one who got almost no attention at all was like, why didn't I get any attention? And the guy was like, because you know exactly what you want and you give a presentation that you're not going to accept any less than that. So all of these guys who internally feel like they can't match up to you, they won't even approach you. And so it's not actually uncommon for a masculine to be in a space where they don't feel like they can match up to you, and you're a risk in their eyes. It's a risk for them because they could get hurt. And which is, I mean, first of all, like give yourself some credit there, group one, for being in that space, and understand that what you want and what you need and what you require in a connection, not everybody can provide that. In fact, the majority of people cannot provide that, especially in the demographic that we have right now, especially depending on what age you are. Like certain brackets, the amount of men available in that space, or people in general, not we shouldn't just go down. I know that there are some men who watch my videos, but the people that are within that bracket, realistically, that are available to us are, I mean, it's slim pickings, you know, it really is. And so we just have to be in our power. So this person is sort of, I think what they're doing realistically, group one, is trying to understand and trying to consider if they can meet you where you need them to meet you at. And that's kind of like where they're seeing things much differently, and they have a lot more passion, and they see that, you know, it's very possible. And I'm sorry to just say this way, and I already know that some of the comments that are going to come in on this, but just bear with me, okay? Hear me out before you start moving into these really narrow assumptions on connections. This person could be moving into a space of seeing you or no, I'm sorry, they could have been in a space of doing comparison. You know, they could have really been in this space of having dealt with sort of another space or another environment. It doesn't have to be another person, but something that really allowed them to be able to see you and what you offer. Sometimes when we're kind of giving people see that as a weakness. You know, they don't see that as a strength. And primarily because that's how they view themselves, right? They view themselves in that space. Does that mean that it's okay? No. Does that mean that there are things that they would obviously have to work on? Absolutely. But we're not going to condemn people, any people in this space. We're all humans here operating in the world together. We're a collective of one, and we know it. Are there humans among us who have a little bit more work to do? Yes, that's why we're all on different waves of alignment energetically. But this person is in your energetic alignment, right? And you know that, because if they weren't in your energetic alignment, you wouldn't be dealing with them. So you have tapped into energetic alignment together with purpose, which means you have the same energy field. So there is a reason for this connection. It is either that it is a blessing and an opportunity for you to learn something about yourself and to move forward, or it is that and it's an opportunity for you to come together. And that's sort of where you're at in this sort of plane, in this alignment with this person. Are you going to be in a space that forgives somebody for, and it really is going to depend. Some of you in this collective, your person wasn't moving with malicious intent at all. And for others of you, they were moving strategically and they knew what they were doing. And so you're going to have to utilize discernment in that space. And you will know by how they choose to treat you and how they choose to respond to you and what they choose to say. But you also have to be in a space, group one, of assessing your own patterns of behavior and how you moved in the connection in order to, for there to be a disconnect on both sides. Okay. But realistically, they're in this space of just like kind of wanting to run towards you. Now, is it because they see you as somebody who very well could be snatched up? I mean, they do see you as the Empress. Actually, let me look at the alignment of this. I've been kind of, I guess it's not so bad. We're kind of missing a little bit. There we go. Yesterday, I realized that I cut off the entire bottom of the video and I was like, oh, good grief. Here we go. Sorry. Okay, I just tripped myself up. So what they're going to are you know, obviously they're seeing you in the Empress space. Okay, so they're seeing you now in this different light. And just the other day, y'all, they saw the Empress in reverse. If you remember that, they were in this space of really not seeing you and really just kind of convincing themselves, almost as though it's like they were kind of trying to talk themselves out of seeing you for who you are, you know, seeing you in your own authenticity. So let's get into, let's just further this conversation. What else are they feeling, please? Should we tap into a different, no, we'll stay here. What else are they feeling, please? I think that's the right way. I'm not sure. This came in, I'm just going to put it this way, y'all, because it came in sideways. And so I think this is sort of like this moment for them. And yeah, that's definitely a moment. It's kind of like they want a new beginning here. Realistically, they've been kind of laying down some groundwork. They're walking away from something in their past, for sure. I think what they're walking away from, realistically, with this Chariot here, is they're walking away from holding themselves back out of fear, it looks like. Now, is it, y'all, you want to hear something funny? Is I saw this Nine of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, and I was like, oh no, I'm not going to grab it. So I just shuffled, and it flew out. It was like, yeah, no, we're coming out. I want the world to see. So it looks like what they're doing is they're moving out of this internal conflict and really moving into seeing where they may be, how do I want to say this? Where they, it's sort of like being in the, like the Fool in reverse is like your person. They procrastinate to an extent where they miss opportunities out of fear, out of moving in fear and internal conflict and internal analyzing. And I will say that there are some elements of this person that I do feel honestly have been misread, just from my personal perspective. Just energetically, I know the difference between an energy that feels very malicious and one that feels very anxious. And so your person's energy is moving from a space of anxiety. It's like internalized anxiety, realistically, and some sort of disconnect with their, I would say there's a bit of a disconnect with their intuition, with their ability to trust themselves. They really do allow sort of the ideas of the outside world to infiltrate how they behave, and sort of this idea of how they're supposed to be, rather than just kind of moving in their own authenticity or even understanding their own authenticity. In fact, I would say that this has given this person quite a bit of heartache, honestly, to really be this disconnected from their intuitive body. So what it seems to be occurring in this space is they're sort of in this space of contemplation, wanting a new beginning in this space, and kind of a little bit beating themselves up, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, like I think they're kind of beating themselves up in this space because they're sort of seeing where they maybe missed an opportunity, where there could have been you know, a fulfilling connection in this space, or they're, you know, I guess some of us are just hard to replace, right, group one? So, I mean, that's how they're viewing it. They're viewing you as sort of the star in this moment. Now, again, energy shifts in a nanosecond, so whether or not they're going to do anything about this energy is really up in the air. I'll get you some message cards from the universe as your back deck, but in this moment, in terms of how they view this connection, is they're viewing it from a space of wanting a new connection. Now, don't be like, well, we shouldn't choose people who do this and this and this. It's like, first of all, who allowed us to be in a space of such entitlement, honestly? Like, oh man, we all need to like really get down on forgiveness a little bit and understand how that works. Now, you don't have to swallow yourself whole within forgiveness. Obviously, forgiveness includes change behavior, and it includes operating in a different space and maintaining that consistently. And it doesn't, you know, forgiving someone else doesn't mean that we choose to abandon self, but this idea that we have locked into where people can't change is just, I don't buy that. Now, use discernment, be intelligent, use what you learned in this space, and don't just let somebody in. You know, here's like the Seven of Wands here, group one in this deck, and it's, you see how it's like she's only going to let one of those wands into that crystal ball with her, right? All the other ones are trying to get in, and they're not even trying that hard, realistically. And so the only person that's going to penetrate, don't get weird on me, is maybe that's just the Aries energy, but the only one that's going to penetrate that crystal ball realistically is going to be one that's worthy of it and one that puts in the effort. Okay, is that going to be this person? I don't know. Assuming that people should just know right off the bat that we're amazing and that we're this, like, that's I would say that coming from that space is a little bit entitled. You know, let's humble ourselves for a moment and let's actually give people grace that some things are difficult. We've all had a life path where we've experienced heartbreak. And you know, part of the reason that we even operate the way that we do in specific spaces and connections is because of things that we've been through in our past. And imagine if someone was condemning us the way that we condemn others for stepping a certain way with us, especially in the feminine energy. Women in particular in the feminine energy tend to condemn the masculine far more. Like, he's far more forgiving. They're in a much more forgiving state, and it's expected of them at that. So we need to look at things a little bit more realistically too. I'm not saying that you need to be in a space of forgiving someone, but I definitely don't think you should ever be in a space of feeling as though you're so valuable that if somebody moves a certain way with you, that it makes you somehow better than them. You know what I mean? So let's not be in that space, okay? I just felt like this might be a collective that comes in with some of those more those comments that are less all-encompassing in my opinion. And so I'd like to broaden our awareness on this topic and connections and be a little bit more I mean, I'm not saying to not be cautious, but we certainly should be a little bit more understanding that not all of us are going to just know right away. And imagine if you had, you know, sometimes when you jump into a connection and you just like go like full force in, those are some of the most rocky and toxic relationships that there are. Those ones that you don't think about it and you don't have time to contemplate about it and you don't analyze it are the ones that you can really get hurt in. So, you know, hindsight is 2020. Group 1, use your discernment, understand your personal power. Obviously don't let anybody in that you don't want to, but don't be in a space that is so rigid that you miss you end up being in that 4 cups energy yourself and missing opportunities too. All right, group 1, that is their true feelings laced in with copious amounts of advice just for you. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment down below. I love reading your comments. It's one of my favorite parts of my day. Thank you again so much for being here, group 1. Happy eclipse. Bye. Oh, group 2, I can already feel the energetic shift. It's so funny because in the group 1 space, I was telling them, like, you know, let's be, you know, not all people move, and you know, I was like, let's be, you know, in our understanding and compassionate space, because, you know, all humans are worthy of at least hearing them out, right? Then I move into your energy. And here's why. Let me explain it to you. I know the energy of someone who is moving from anxiety and fear, and I know the energy of somebody who is moving from self-motivation. And it's a much, 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 much different vibe. Listen to my guinea pigs that are like, excuse me, Mom, but we would like attention. I fed them. I gotta shut this door, y'all. I fed them. I gave them hay. They're so spoiled. Oh my goodness. They get spinach and carrots, and I literally gave them all of my asparagus ends the other day. Like, what more do you want from me, you demanding little turds? And then they're filthy at that. It's like, ugh. I don't know, maybe that energy has something to do with your person, because they are in this like right now they're in a state that they're like, I need attention, I want attention, I need to figure out a way to get group 2's attention. And that is like the way that they are. It's so me-centered and self-motivated. And that's why I was laughing, because I was sitting there telling group 1 to be like, you know, a little bit more compassionate. And in this space, I feel like I have a much different opinion just based on the energy of your person. I would actually be very guarded in this space with this person, and the energy that is coming in is, It's much less about wanting your attention because it's not for you, it's for self. It's very self-motivated in this space. The way that they feel is very selfish. The way that they feel is that it's not really about your feelings, it's about their feelings. And so they're in this energy that is, I want to talk about me. I want to talk about I want to talk about number one, me, my, what I think, Except for he doesn't even like talking about you usually, if you know the song. Or she, I suppose. Okay, so let's see here, group 2. What are their true feelings? True feelings. You have the Knight of Cups in the upright. The Five of Pentacles in the reverse. The High Priestess. Where are we going? The Queen of Swords in the reverse. How are they feeling? It's like they feel like they've been cut off. And the Three of Pentacles in the upright, bottom of the deck. The Hermit in the reverse. And the Five of Wands. And the Eight of Cups in the reverse. Are we standing in our power, group 2, a little bit? Are we choosing ourselves in this moment? Good, high five. Because it looks as though they're looking at this. Okay, so the energy that it feels like, I just want to say that it's not coming from the heart center, and it's not coming from a space of looking at things with too much emotion. So just like the energy that's coming in is really, it's like centered in the root. There's a lot going on in the root space. And that's it, realistically. It's like very much there in that that's where the energy is sitting. And it's like there's this space of, it's not necessarily guilt, but it is, what is this feeling? It is, it's moving from a place of strategy. Okay, so the space that they're in this moment and how they're feeling is, it is, okay, it just is coming through like, how do I get what I want? And that's it. That's like the energy that they're moving in. So they're seeing you as being in this space where you're not communicating with them and you've kind of cut them off, and they're fully aware of that. And so now they're trying to contemplate how they can get your attention. And because what they want to do, honestly, it seems like, is they want to step back into that cycle of being in a where you are in a reactive state to their behavior. And I can tell you something that will trip up somebody like this more than anything is that if you stop responding and you get in control of yourself, don't let them get you into a space of reactivity. Because if they get you into that space, then they feel internally that they have control over the situation and that they have control over you. And so it is if you remain in a space of self-control and you don't let somebody rock the boat and let somebody get you into a space of reactivity, then you are in your power. It doesn't mean you're having power over somebody else, but you are holding power within self. This person, how they can, because they can't control themselves, they get into a space, and first of all, this is all subconscious. None of this is something that they are consciously aware of. The majority of people who operate in this space do not consciously comprehend all of the actions that they're doing. Some of it they understand strategically, but realistically, like the majority of people who operate in this space, it's a subconscious thing, that it's just how they feel in control is by controlling the situations rather than controlling themselves. And a lot of people operate like this, even people in a feminine space who think that they don't operate like this, like they do. There are various ways that we, in terms of trauma responses and things like that, where we operate in this space, and many of us do it. In fact, we have to understand that you're in energetic alignment with this person together. You guys tapped into the same energetic alignment, you know, cohesively. Why am I always stumble with wording in this particular collective. It's like communication in this space is so disconnected on both sides. It's like y'all do not you do not communicate in a way that the other comprehends the other. And so that's one major disconnect that happens in this connection or in this space with this person, is that y'all just don't communicate effectively. And it's really a lot of it is about controlling the outcomes, like controlling, like it's almost like trying to, it's moving from survival a bit and being in this space of wanting to cushion the blow of things we don't want to experience, right? So then we, rather than controlling ourselves in that space, we try to control the environment around us. We try to either fight for a different outcome or fight for someone to behave differently, or we sort of fight for things to remain the same, and fight for things to, for there not to be any boat being rocked, that you just accept this person for exactly how they are, and even though you don't. And so it's like, you know what I mean? It's just so like such a disconnect and so much tension in that space within this connection. And so they want you to come out of this hermit space. They want you to move into a space where you're giving them what they want, which is your attention, because that's what's really helped them in the past, is that when they have your attention, then they know that you are validating them in some space. And here's the thing, is that we have to get out of the space of validating people who aren't doing anything for us. It's like part of the reward-based system, group 2, is that there has to be something that is worth being rewarded for. So when we're validating people by chasing or by giving them copious amounts of attention when they're behaving a certain way, then we are rewarding bad behavior, and they get what they want. They got the attention that they wanted from that space. It is literally like a toddler moving like that is in a space with where the majority of the attention that they get is from like being yelled at or because they've been bad, right? And then they're ignored kind of the rest of the time. And then so they do things to be like bad more often in order to get the attention. And then you move those people who are bred in that space into adulthood, and they don't even understand. They don't know, because it's on it's like a subconscious level, that they are doing things to elicit attention and to elicit that response. And this is the energy that your person's in. And so they're in this space of wanting to control the outcome, of wanting what they want without having to do anything for it. They want your attention, but even though they're in this sort of acts of service space, which is in my opinion like the 3 of Pentacles, but it isn't going into like a King of Pentacles, right? It's a very small, like, here, I'll do this little thing for some of your attention, but then I can't uphold that, because then I'm going to get greedy, right? Because following the 3 of Pentacles is a 4 of Pentacles. And in my opinion, the 4 of Pentacles is a very greedy card, at least in the traditional tarot, where this person is super, like, they're holding on to all their pentacles, and he's got a pentacle under one foot, a pentacle under the other foot, a pentacle in his hand, and a pentacle on his head. Like, what are you doing, sir? Like, he's just like so guarding all of the things, and really not having done much for it, obviously, because we know that later in the timeline there is things like the 8 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles and then the 10 of Pentacles, that actually requires effort, and really where we begin seeing the fruits of our labor. So this person is at the infant stages of realistically being able to offer anything tangible in this space. And more importantly, they're doing it because because they want something for themselves, not because they're trying to give something to you. It's like they just want what they want without really even considering how it's impacting you or how it makes you feel. And what they want, realistically, is your attention. But what are they willing to do for it? I just heard diddly squat, which is like such a thing that my grandmother would say. Oh my goodness. I gotta tell y'all a story. This is so funny. I liked this guy when I was when I was a teenager, and my grandma did not like him. And he came to the door one time at her house, and she answered the door. And this is like this generation, man. They had like no filter. She answered the door, and she's like, she yelled up to me and she goes, "Bonehead's here." And I was like, oh my goodness. She did not just call him bonehead. Oh my goodness. She was something else. I love that woman. Like, and today, you know what? I really appreciate it because I think he actually probably was a bonehead. I don't even know what that means, but oh, so funny. Okay. What else are they feeling? Here you go, that queen. Yeah, they just feel like you're not communicating with them and they don't like it. I think that at one point in time, it's probably that you were like maybe more of a chaser in this dynamic and really were giving them all kinds of attention and they don't like it. They are kind of in this space of wanting to move this out of this state where you're not communicating and to bring it into fruition and take a risk and move forward. Now, suddenly, all of a sudden, we're seeing, you know, beginning to see you in this like Empress state and wanting to fight for it. And here's the thing, though, is they're coming in as this Page of Goblets. Now, if you know how I feel about the Page of Cups, if you have been here a while, so the Page of Cups, he comes in and he's in this gesture outfit and he's bringing this like small little cup of emotion, right? But he's so confused about emotions and how to transfer that over that he just has a fish in the cup. There isn't even any emotion in it. He's just like, here's a fish. I'm trying. And while this isn't a state of trying, it's certainly not a grand gesture by any means, and he doesn't know what he's doing. You know, so there's that. And more importantly is that in order for this to be a counterpart realistically, wouldn't he have to be coming in as the Emperor? And is this person capable of even being in an Emperor status realistically? Because this person moves from a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity. The way that they see themselves is the reason that they're moving in this space is because they have a lot of internalized conflict within self. They're in this space of viewing themselves as though the only way that they can sort of get your attention and to get what they want is to move strategically rather than being able to give you more. In fact, I don't think they know how to give you more. So it's like, yes, they do want to move forward, but it's realistically, they're in this space because they're in inner turmoil. They're in inner conflict with themselves because they're not getting what they want. And it's all me-centered. It's all self-motivated. It's all to keep them from, well, first of all, it's to keep them in a space of maintaining control over the situation. And then also to keep them in a space of having to face the reality. Because if you went from this place of always kind of giving to them and giving and giving and giving to them and to cutting them off, then it's like, then they have to accept that the reason that this happened was because they moved in a way that was, it finally just, like, the levee broke, kind of, you know what I mean? Where their behavior is, like, caught up to them in this space, as they should. And that's going to come in with some karma, and they're aware of that. And also, it's going to come in with the fact that this is no longer going to be a space in which you are giving to them. And I would say that in dealing with this type of energy and dealing with this connection and knowing the energetic alignment that this collective is reading in, I would highly suggest not to plant any seeds, and I don't want to be in that space, but I definitely think that we need to be in a space in which we are realistically choosing healthy over toxic. And I hate the word toxic anyway, because I don't think that that's necessarily I don't think it's toxicity. I think it's unhealed trauma. And I think that's a big difference. And words are important because nobody is saying that just because this person is moving from this space that they are realistically as malicious as it feels, is that this is a person that was that has a lot of work to do on themselves. And the easiest way for us to do work on ourselves is to not be in a space where our behaviors are being somewhat enabled. So it's easier to work on ourselves when we disconnect. These type of people can't be alone. So how can they get into a space of ever realistically being able to do the work that they need to do and trust connections that could help them there without separating and going into that space? Who's to say that this person is going to be in a position where they are going to be able to do that? And more importantly, that's often a two-way street. Sometimes there's so much codependency within these types of connections that the reason we can't pivot out of it is all fear-based. It's because the survival that someone else is moving in is actually reciprocated in self. Like, we're also moving in that energy, and we have to wake up to that and understand that. So I think this person really does see you as, they see you in this sort of Empress light. They are seeing you in a different space. They do want a new beginning with you. They do want to take the risk and move forward, but it seems to be all based around them not getting what they want, not about them caring about the connection. It's just wanting what they want without really having to do a whole lot to give back in return. All right, group 2, that is your message. If you like this, please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment down below. Let's take some time to maybe focus on ourselves in this space a little bit. I think you guys are doing a great job. Obviously, you're not communicating with this person, but just remember these things, especially the response, okay? The response is something that oftentimes people in these types of connections, the other person, is that even without them even understanding it, they are seeking that response and that reaction, okay? And if you can move out of a reactive state, you can move into self-control. And that's exactly where you need to be in this space to be able to pivot outside of this alignment. Much love to you, group 2. Enjoy the rest of your day. Group 3. Group 3, my collective 3, my little spiritual homies. Y'all have been going through it recently. You know what's interesting? Group 3 is that when I was pulling this out, I was like, I have this feeling. But here I am, I'm doing this read on, like, what are their true feelings, right? And I have a feeling that this is going to come in a much different way than it may have in the other. So in the other readings, it was like, this is how your person feels. But when I got into your energy, I was like, to be frank with y'all, group 3, I was like, who cares what they think? Because you're a unicorn. Wake up to that. You know, I kind of moved into that space a little bit. It was like, who cares what they think? And it's like, okay, I know that that's what we're here for, and we're going to get into it. Don't get me wrong. But I just want you to know that, like, the first thing that came out when the Unicard came out and I was going to tap into your reading, that it wasn't even that sentiment, y'all. It was a lot more, it was like, who the fuck cares? Because the group 3 collective deserves to understand that they are unicorns. You are the most beautiful people. You're so kind and so compassionate and so giving, and you're just little gems in this world. And I'm so, so, so very grateful for you. But okay, let's find out what their true feelings are, I suppose. All right. How is group 3's person truly feeling? What are their true feelings? We'll get into it. I know I'm being a little bit quiet. I really love this collective, so I want to make sure I'm delivering the message exactly how it's coming out and how it feels. Bottom of the deck. Okay. You know, it's interesting, group 3, because I think your person is actually aware that there's something sort of off balance within you in this moment, and they want to talk to you about it. They want to communicate on this. But I will say it's like they aren't coming in with a whole lot of emotion. They are coming in with a little bit of guilt, I guess would be the feeling. There's some sort of thing in this space that they don't want to repeat, that they don't want to be in this space of going down this, but are they capable of that? That's important, because I know that there are some within this collective where it's like, yeah, they may want that, but is that something that they're realistically capable of doing? Okay, so they're in this space of seeing that, you know, whatever has gone on in this space or in this moment has knocked you a little bit off balance, and they want to talk about it. They want to be in a communicative state, but there's some sort of cycle that either they want to step outside of, or that they can see repeating. Are they even aware of that? I don't know, but they themselves might be in a position where there's a cycle being repeated within their behavior. They don't want to walk away from this connection, though, and they don't want you to walk away from this connection. So how they're feeling about it is a bit burdened in this moment, because they don't want it to end. They don't want it to be in a space where it's not moving forward. They don't want to walk away from this. They don't want to watch you walk away from this. But and they want to just put the past behind you. It's kind of like the vibe here. But there's a bit of an imbalance with that. And they can see this as imbalance. They know that there's an imbalanced state. And it's like they want to move forward. They want to get out of this space of being where they're indecisive or out of, it's almost, your person gives a really non-committal vibe, honestly. And I think they might have a fear surrounding that. And there's a lot that is like, they're just feeling really guilty and burdened by within this space of sort of, well, first of all, I already know those of you in the group 3 collective and how your demeanor is and how you treat others. So it's like they're feeling a bit like they're definitely in this space of looking at themselves as the issue here and not really pointing fingers in this moment or looking at it going, oh, at least internally. But it's like they're sort of fighting themselves and sort of fighting the idea of it's just so guilt-ridden. It's like there's a lot of guilt within this person on how they operated and how they moved in this space, and they're feeling really guilty about it. And it could have been because they were in this space of sort of misreading you and being in this space of really not seeing, just because you all have this giving nature. I do think you would be among the collective that might have to really watch out and make sure you're not fawning and being in a space of fawning. And so there could have been a moment within this space, within this person, where you were just kind of over giving to it and being really compassionate about it. And then it moved into this sort of space of going, wait a second, like, do I realistically deserve what's going on here when I am giving, I am worthy of reciprocity, and I'm in this space that knows that I have put in the work, and I don't deserve to feel like I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve to be in a space where I'm not being communicated with authentically, because there's some sort of omission going on here, right? Even if someone's not necessarily lying to us. They do lie by omission. And it's kind of being in this, it's a little bit of, I would say your energy is feeling a bit fed up in this moment, whereas their energy is feeling very, it's like they feel all the burden is sort of lying on them to make this right, to bring it into the upright, and to, you know, tip these scales here. It's that they're feeling this is all kind of, it's in their hands at this point, and it's sort of to them it's feeling like it's a really heavy burden to carry, and they're like wanting to bring in stability, but they're kind of in this page of coins energy of not really knowing how to stabilize this, and understanding that they do see you as sort of, they do understand that there is something about you that stands out among the crowd. There's something about the way that you treated them, that they've never been treated this way before, and they are very passionate about you as well in addition to that. But they're in this space of sort of feeling like, in order for this all to come to balance and this new beginning to come, and for you to kind of get out of this moment of being knocked down or feeling imbalanced in this space, is going to require them bringing everything into the upright. It's going to require them sort of coming in with the emotion that you're looking for, or the passion that you're looking for, or the communication that you're looking for. And they're sort of in this moment, they're like aware that this is what they're going to need to do in order for this connection to move forward. Okay, I'm just going to get you one more on how they feel, how they're feeling, because I have to go pick up my kids to go watch the eclipse. Okay. How are they feeling about this? What else can you tell us, please? I will say that the burdensome that they feel is very heavy in like the back. There's a lot around the heart chakra. They do see you as a very passionate, very attractive, very beautiful person. They've definitely spent some time thinking about that. And it's almost as though they see, it's interesting because they see you having been knocked off balance, but it's almost like they feel like they had something to do with that. And they're feeling a bit unstable because now they're viewing you in this, oh, that was way too many. In a bit of a wish fulfillment, right? With that 10 of Cups there. And again, there's that passion coming in. I saw that card and I didn't pull it out because when I was like, oh, that's too many, I saw the King of Wands and I was like, well, I guess if it comes out, it comes out. And then it popped out. That's so funny. I love when that happens. I wish I would have said it out loud though. But anyway. So they're feeling like they want to move out of any kind of heartbreak, but they are kind of in this energy of sort of contemplating, right? That's the Hangman. So they are in this space of really viewing this connection and viewing what's going on here and trying to see, they've had a bit of a moment here. There's that Tower coming out where, and I think you've had a Tower moment too. You know what's interesting, Collective 3, is that y'all seem to be having a very similar moment of getting knocked off balance in this space. And you know, on one half it's like losing hope, and on the other half it's like, okay, well, I gotta do, like, now it's like the pressure on your person is heightened, and then the I wouldn't even necessarily impatience, but like the lack of hope is existing in your space, and it's sort of going in this space where both of you are kind of operating very similarly. Now, whether or not this could all be internalized for them as well, right? Group 3, we have to be conscious of that, okay? Because while they may be thinking this, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to take action to this. Like, yes, they want a new beginning, or not even a new beginning. I haven't actually seen that here, but they want to sort of get out of this cycle, right? It's more so that is that they want to get into a new cycle, which I guess could be a new beginning, I suppose. But they're sort of seeing it in this moment as though it's like they're going to have to be the ones that are doing the work, and they're really thinking about this. They're really contemplating, like, okay, it's kind of in that, you know, if this is somebody who has been non-committal and been in a non-committal energy for a long time, then that's a big step for them, you know, to step into a space in which they are, okay, we're going to take this more seriously. And the masculine energy, when it's making a decision like that and it's healthy or a little bit healthier than I would say some masculines, they move much slower. They move like molasses, y'all. And in fact, I would say that it's the energies that rush in and that just like rush towards something that are the most unhealthy. So it's good to be in a space of contemplation, okay? But sometimes I think that these masculine energies get so tripped up that they end up procrastinating into a space that then they are missing opportunities because they're moving a little bit from a fear-centered space. And so I don't know if it's necessarily that, but I think that this person, you know, a commitment, at least to that energy, is a big deal. Okay. So if they're in that space of sort of contemplating, okay, do I want to commit to this person fully and really go in on this, is I think is the point that they are currently at in this collective. Definitely doing a lot of thinking on it. So that's what I have, group 3, for their true feelings in this moment. I know this is a really quick read, but it's eclipse day and I'm going to go out into a field and watch the eclipse with my babies. So if this resonated for you and you'd like to see more content from me, please like and subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you. Hello, my homies in group 3. I have such a big group 3 collective. I just want y'all to know that I love y'all so much, and I appreciate the amount of support that you've provided me each day. You're amazing. You're such an amazing collective of people. So if this person is in a space of contemplating committing to you, then in my opinion, I feel like you're damn well worth it. And if you feel like this person isn't stepping up to you, just know that you absolutely deserve what you give. Okay, group 3? All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Happy eclipse. Thank you for being here.